Backstage here with Tyler Simmons from IMAX. We're going to be talking about some industry buzzwords, some big trends and big challenges. Thank you so much for being here, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in. It's 2023. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's January. Everybody's planning for the year, and everybody's talking about trends. And there's a lot of different ones depending on who you're talking to. What's top of mind for you as you're thinking about your plan for the year? Are there any trends that you're looking at? Whether it's technology trends, industry trends, entertainment trends, what are you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things, for us, we've kind of come a long way in our, technology journey. And, for us, what I'm really looking at is, how to leverage data, I think there's right now a lot of people, there's so much data. And even in the conversations I've been having this week, people are like, we have too much data. And I think for me, what I'm starting to see is new ways to sort of synthesize that data into actionable insight. And we have data coming out the ears, but if you can't translate that into something that's going to, drive the business, it might as well be back to 15 years ago. So I think for me, that's kind of I see something, because as we have all these sort of external, whether it's post-pandemic stuff, whether it's whatever this economy we're in, I think we're going to see a lot more constraints on things. And I think that although a lot of people have always been thinking about that, I think it's going to be even further exacerbated in this kind of coming year, because there's going to be more pressure on budgets, more pressure on performance, more pressure on impact from innovation and marketing teams. And so I think for me, that's kind of one of the, at least one of the headlines kind of going into next year for sure.
So let's kind of build on that. And you touched on this a little bit, but as far as challenges go, what's keeping you up at night? Is there something that you're thinking about as far as your challenges that you want to tackle this year, or for the whole industry that we should be tackling together? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, and this is probably not, unique to me and unique to IMAX, but I think it's something, again, it's another theme that I've kind of heard come up, and I think it's directly tied to that data piece, which is, it's a culture piece. It's, a lot of people, I think, despite our best efforts, operate in silos, that's internally, but also from an industry level, in terms of people being, hoarding data and not wanting to share that. IMAX is in a very unique position where we have to get very creative about how we gain access to that data. Not everyone's wanting to charge you for it, or doesn't want to share for competitive advantage and whatnot. And so I think that's a challenge, So when it's not arms wide open, let's all hold hands, in a perfect world. Yeah, what are the interesting, creative, kind of innovative ways to sort of tackle that and get to those sort of right, data sets that you can actually effectively analyze it, and then obviously use that to make better decisions. So
absolutely, I love it. Mm-hmm. Metaverse. We play buzzword bingo. You can't go 2 feet outside in the halls of the Cosmopolitan here or any hotel anywhere in Vegas during CES without being, hearing about the metaverse.
Yeah.
The last year we've seen a lot of interesting experimentation. Yeah. It's certainly the biggest, or one of the biggest topics in the industry. What's your take on the metaverse? What role does it play for brands, if any?
Yeah. The best types of technology, I think are the ones that you really can't see, that I don't necessarily know that I'm, playing in whatever that is, or on the blockchain or whatever. But I think as it pertains to the metaverse or kind of Web3 and maybe how we're approaching it at IMAX, it's probably a lot different than a lot of brands. I think there's been a lot of really, flashy projects, or people doing NFT drops or PFP projects, or going into the metaverse sandbox or what have you. And I think that's all great. I think that's all experimentation. I still think we're fairly far off from that being a reality that the sort of average day-to-day person can sort of even understand, let alone want to engage in. And so I think at IMAX, what we're trying to do, we're really bullish on the technology of blockchain and how that can augment our core business, how that can augment the ways we augment the customer experience, and ultimately how that maybe unlocks opportunities for us that were never possible, before that sort of emerged. So I think for us, it's a very thoughtful and sort of strategic approach, and starting to kind of play some small bets and tiptoe. But I think from a mass adoption, should everyone be there? I'm sure people have their arguments, but I think we're we're going to be playing in the real world for a lot longer than people think we are.
Fantastic. And I think that there is certainly a case to be made for the underlying technologies, right, and the practical applications that they can have and that they can make for the business that don't necessarily need to be splashy PR plays.
Yeah, and I go back to the fundamental question of marketing, which is, like, what problem are we trying to solve? And I think that I don't know what the metaverse is solving right now, but I do think that again, the core technology that sort of underpins all of it is really exciting. Something that maybe hasn't happened in the last 2 decades. The .com era, I was like too young to really partake in, so I'm excited to at least be a part of that, see where it goes, and continue to nurture it and sort of usher IMAX into the future, wherever that takes us. So,
well, thank you so much for being here, for sharing with us and with our community, and hopefully we'll have you back again soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks again.
All right, wonderful. All right.